Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Right behind the scenes, just before the show, I got dang, I need 3 more minutes. Too late. Go. Good morning, Trail Dust, Shane, Mr. Parsons. How you doing? Nick Chu, Paul Orchard, Transcendental Artist Studios, Jeff Kren. Long time no see. Board to Gov. How do? Is it I say it all the time, Bortagov. Is it Borgov or Bortagov? Am I saying that right? Or am I saying that like not offensively or something? What up, Bor? I do.
Yeah,
Um,
it is kind of a question I've had is it's because pronunciation when you have two hard consonants next to each other is kind of problematic when English is your primary language. So
well, I know. Only reason I bring it up is because I know I was actually just talking with Jay and Jeannie about one of the few itty bitty little good things that came from my ex-wife, and that was an appreciation for Georgian cuisine, and like the one of the sauces that they use is tamale, and it's spelled Tkemi, blah 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 blah, but it's the TK is a very big um, combination that they use in their linguistics, and it's pronounced it's a soft T hard K, you know. Uh, so you don't call it Kamali, it's Kamali, you know. And yeah, so just one of those govs, I guess. But random. Did not mean to go that direction. um, but yeah, so good morning, everybody. How you doing, George? Uh, Internet drama is missing most of Jack's stream, still not sorted. Working with data tonight. Yeah, I kind of just disappeared yesterday. Some people know why. Some people know I ain't gonna really bring it up. But yeah, um, I didn't do much yesterday. I did go and have a steak dinner with the bosses, with Jay and Jeannie. Uh, I kept asking what we're celebrating. They didn't say, and just said, "Oh, we've worked our butts off the past 2 weeks, so we're having a steak dinner." We went out to eat, and it was nice. But yeah. Uh, this past week again, slamming at work. Not quite so many hours as the week before, but that was more lack of material. We worked so hard, so fast that we ran out of the material, and it's like, well, now we got to go order more because we can't get into the stores because of freaking supply chain issues. But so some of that material started filtering in. Like Friday, I got home from work early, and it's like, oh, here's a box of the stuff that I needed for today. Should I go back and go get back to work? Um, but yeah, so busy week. The heat came back. It's back to the 90s here. Yay! Yay! So today is going to be a hot and sweaty day because after the show today, I've got to get out there with my chainsaw. I got to cut down a maple tree. I've got to weed eat and kind of just pretty up the yard a bit because tomorrow we have a new employee starting. Not here for Island Metal Forge, as far as I know yet, but for my company, we've got a new employee starting. He's a part-time. He's an old retired guy. Looking forward to meeting him, and he's just kind of bored with his retirement and wants to do something. He used to be a contractor, and yeah, he's going to come on for a couple days a week and help out. So that's awesome because tomorrow is a trenching job. He used to be a contractor,
Uh-oh.
and somebody's going to mute. There's an echo.
Why does it do that?
Help out. So and help out
I
because
can't,
tomorrow
I
is a
can't find
trenching
it.
job.
What the hell just happened?
We'll just I'll dance to it like it's music.
Oh my gosh! I'm sitting there, and it just starts playing for some reason, even though it's muted.
Okay.
All
I
right.
think we just doxed Boar. Boar is my Iron Age name. I work at an open air historical museum. My real name is spelled backwards. So hello, my name is Rob Log. 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 Hello, Rob. I'm still calling you Boar.
I'm gonna mute my mic for just a second. Let me see if this
Sure.
works, so I can see if I can figure this out before I just
Yeah.
pop it back open.
I'll keep talking. So yeah, the kind of having another person to come and help is going to be huge because it's Jay, my dad, is in the office. He is the master electrician. He's out there getting us jobs and doing estimates, and I send in my job reports, and he basically his day is filled with punching things on a keyboard. Me and Jeannie both can't stand that. I hate computer work. I do it, but I hate it. Um, and me and Jeannie are out in the field, and uh, it's exhausting. And so having a third hand, even if it's just a helper, like, hey, I need to check all these outlets. Can you open them all up? Or I need to, you know, can you go grab this? Or here, like I'm up on a ladder. Hand me that. Stuff like that. It's just going to be a huge help. Um, for both me and Jeannie. And it's been a long time coming, and we're all excited for it, and we're all excited to see where it's going to go. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's a not. I always joke around with my dad, like, because he's a heart patient, and kind of like he's up in his mid to upper 60s, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 and I go, I know some 90-year-old blacksmiths could quit complaining. And so yeah, 60 is the new 40.
All right.
But we'll see how the guy does. I hope it goes great. I hope I get along with him. I hope he gets my sense of humor, because you gotta laugh. So that's my week in a shell of nuts. What's up, Matthew?
Yeah.
Uh,
So, yeah, I had a decent week, I guess. I worked 4 days for 72 hours. Yeah. Would have liked to have gotten a couple more in there just to really uh, get some money saved up for Quad State, because the week before was only like 32 or something like that. So it kind of evens out in the end, when you get a mix like that, a short week and a long week. Um, Other than that, let's see. I didn't do much. Worked a bit, and I had a whole thing I was going to get into, and I completely forgot what it was. I had kind of like scripted out what this little bit was going to be, and then just a minute ago, when I had the little faux pas with the mute button, which I figured out why it did that, I completely forgot where I was going to go. So
right.
and now it's gone. Yeah, so. Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I mean, like, so I'm just curious. Am I the only one that's already packed for Quad State? I mean, like, I've got everything sitting in a little pile in the corner, ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I'll call it. All of my stuff is sitting in a pile in the corner. For Quad State. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The corner, meaning the entire thing.
There's a pass. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I do got to clean up my room though.
Matthew, Quad State is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of September. Yeah, that's I'm sorry you're not going though. I mean, it'd be freaking awesome if you could make it. But hey, hey, I'm gonna be well, I don't know. I mean, I was gonna say the week before. I'm not really sure where you're at, but I'm going to be like driving from my house to Yames's house. What, the Monday before? I don't know what day that 17th, 18th. I'll be driving cross country. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool if I could see somebody along the way, but all of the people I know along the way so far have not hit me up. So, or gotten back with me. So, if I got to just drive all the way to Yamez's house and call that good, I will.
Yep.
I
And
mean, obviously not in one shot. I did discuss that. There's no way I can drive 22 hours straight. Not anymore, anyways. I'm not 17 anymore.
yeah. And I will apologize again for the dinging that you guys will be hearing. It is from a website that I am a part of, and I don't have any instances of it open whatsoever, and it still pops up. I have no idea why, and the developer of the website has no idea why. It hasn't stopped. I mean, it's even when I'm watching a movie. Yeah. So anyway, so I apologize for that. Uh, it's a nice thing. It's coinmerge.io. If you want to check it out, it's a fun website.
Uh, Paul Orchard says he was in the 15 years in the Australian Army, and he used a theory called panic packing, and it worked for him. Yeah, I've been there before, but my last ex-wife was it really irritated her because I would get off work on like say a Thursday or a Friday, well, typically a Friday because she worked Monday through Friday 8 to 5, right? And and so it would irritate her when I would get off on like a Friday afternoon or something, and I would know I don't have any work for till like Tuesday or something. And I'd be like, hey, let's I got nothing going on for 3 years. I got nothing going on for 3 days. Let's go to Mount Rushmore, or let's go to the Black Hills, or whatever. I mean, okay, Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills is the same dang thing. They're only like an hour apart, but instead of like planning it out weeks in advance, it's just like, I got 3 days. Where can we go in 3 days? Or where can we go in a day, spend a day there, and spend a day coming back? So, I was always of the mindset that if I've got 3 days, I can go anywhere that's reasonably within a 12-hour drive in any direction, and it used to just really just get her goat that I would not like plan these things out. I would just like at the drop of a hat, let's go do this, let's go do that.
Okay. Um, yeah, actually, thinking about it, uh, now I'd like to be premier on this site. That is my profile link uh, for CoinMerge. Uh, Everybody go make an account, sign up, and follow me so that I have like massive followers.
Right. Now, if you want to know my route, going from coming to see Yamez on the 17th, that will be, if you could just go into Google Maps and go Midland, Texas to Currituck, North Carolina,
Yeah,
and that's the route I'm gonna whatever the hell it is. I'm really not going to veer from that, other than the fact that, as I'm driving, Google Maps will alternate me around a little bit to get around accidents and congestion and stuff like that. I mean, so that's a little bit variable, but that's usually only when I get to around to the big cities like Atlanta and whatnot.
I
Um,
I
and I know
usually
the last two times I drove across there, I had no issues with any city whatsoever. I just boom straight through on I-40 or I-20, and I know I'll be taking 20 for a long darn ways. I don't know where 20 comes out on the east side of the country at, but I do know that's a fair bit of my trip is I-20. So
yeah. Speaking of world travels and such, uh, Anson Ivy's family factorum, uh, and he officially is no longer based in Virginia, and he's so happy about that. Yet the world is sad.
right.
Yeah, he didn't even drive by and say goodbye.
And Robert, you are right. Yellowstone is where I had my honeymoon. We honeymooned in Yellowstone, and that was freaking amazing. And we were there. We only had time to do the South Loop. We didn't do the North Loop because Yellowstone is like a figure eight, and we came in on the east side at I believe it's Cody, and we did the South Loop and then spent the night. We spent the night in Cody, and then we did the South Loop the next day, and then we spent the night in Jackson or Jackson Hole, and yeah, that was a God. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I mean, that park is something else.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's, again, on the subject of road tripping. Um, when I become bazillionaire, which is gonna happen, dang it. Um, yeah, that is going to fit in my plans. Making or building a mobile shop, and taking time out of a year to take this show on the road and travel. So, uh, yeah, I will be hitting up all your shops. And so, uh, all y'all need to do is, over the next couple of years, make sure you have an RV outlet installed on your garage so that I can plug in when I get to your house. I'm gonna be in your house. No, I'm gonna be in my RV.
Eric, I didn't really notice so many people in Yellowstone. It was, I don't know. I mean, as far as tourist places I've been to, it wasn't that, well, I don't know. Old Faithful was pretty darn crowded, but other than that, I mean, it seemed fairly normal to me. But I went, I believe I was there let's see, we came back, let's see, got married on the 11th, so it was the second, or yeah, because we came back from Texas and went straight to there, so it would have been, yeah, the like around the 14th or 15th of June in 2011. And yeah, there was still like 8 feet of snow there in the passes. It was crazy that the snow was just straight up on the sides of the road for like 8 feet. And I was like, wow, I mean, like I'm from the mountains. I'm used to, snow. So it's no big deal, but I've never really seen more than, I don't know. I've probably never been around more than 4 or 5 feet at a time. So,
Right. All right. But so,
all right. See you, Matthew.
with all that out of the way, uh, our topic of the week, actually it's handles. Specifically hammer handles, but not just hammer handles. This topic came up in conversation between me and Sully over the week. We were talking and talking about grain, and why hammer handles break, and such as that, and everything, blah blah blah, yada yada. And it's
And
like, hmm?
I was saying, and it really originated with the fact that my hammer number 7, which was one of two that I sold. Um, uh, I sold it to a farrier lady, and she still uses, primarily uses. I think she has number 3 as well, and so she was primarily using that one. Well, the very first time she went to use number 7, she shaped one shoe, and then the first whack on the second shoe broke the head right off. And she sent me a picture of it and said, hey, can I get you to fix this? And I was like, well, I told her, I was like, it's kind of luck of the draw on handles sometimes, because I mean, like, I've broken handles, but not like on the 20th whack. I mean, it usually takes a while, and most of the time it's my fault. Like when I broke the handle of my favorite hammer the first time. Yeah, I was using it it's a, a 2.5 pound blacksmithing hammer, and I was using it to hammer a drift through a hammer eye. Probably not the best usage of it. And I broke a few, here and there, and it's, just something I'm used to, but I don't break them often enough to think it's problematic with the hammer. I mean, or with the handle. It's just, it's like, yeah, I really shouldn't have hit that like that, or something like that. But in the conversation, I realized I have no idea how to pick a hammer handle, because I don't know wood. I don't know anything about it. I mean, like, I
Right.
cook with it. And I smoke meat with it, and I don't. I have, yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about wood, grain structure, anything like that. And so Yamaz was trying to explain it to me, and we decided, well, let's talk about this on the show, because maybe I'm not the only one that knows f all about wood grain.
And George Anderson brings up Maddox and uh, friction grip handles, and where basically you slip the head from the bottom to the top, and the top of the handle is wider than the bottom of the handle, and to keep it locked in, much like a tomahawk or a something like that. And I'll get to that on why that is not a good idea for a hammer. I'll get to that here shortly. But I mean, to be fair, uh,
Yeah.
I've never actually tried that on a hammer, and but there's a reason, and if I could break that one habit, it might work, but at the same time, I just don't see it working. But
Now,
okay, but I'll get to that. Remind me to get to what tomahawk style handles and a hammer. Okay, so to get to the bulk of the conversation me and Sully had, first thing we're going to talk about is wood grain structure on a hammer handle for a hammer. Okay, now you hold your hammer like so, obviously, face, your knuckles face, boom. So the force is boom right there. Uh, 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 Trying to describe it for the listeners with my big lack of science words. Your force is perpendicular to the or oh. Okay, it's hard to describe what I'm visual or what I'm showing visually here. That's the strike phase right there. Boom, and that's the force. So you want the grain to be in line with the hammer head. You don't want it like this because if you hit there, the grain weakens and it can pop the hammer
now
head off.
therein lies the question: what do you mean by the direction of grain? I mean, like,
Yep, I'll get to that. Okay, so
uh,
just for the visual reference, when I say uh, parallel to the hammer, up and down from face to face is what I'm talking about. All right. So with the grain, let me see if the camera can pick this up. I may have to get up and zoom the camera in uh, or refocus the camera. Oop, focus. All right. That is focused. And all right. So if you see the grain in the direction of the hammer, along the face of the hammer, right? The grain has the lines that go parallel along with uh, where the hammer head would go. All right.
move your
That
handle to the left. You're up the side.
oh yeah, okay. So trying to keep it all in line there.
You go right there.
Yeah. So you see the grain moving up and down in this instance, where the faces would be top and bottom. If the grain were the opposite, like if this were this same way, but the grain was going this way, and the hammer faces were going that way, all of that weakness can snap the hammer handle. So you want the grain to be fairly tight, and vertical when you're holding the hammer head or hammer faces uh, up and down. All right. Uh,
Hey, Ivy had a good point. Use a pen to color in to draw on the grain lines
you
there.
know what? You know what? You're absolutely right there. Let me see. This is because this other handle, it's all light wood. All right.
Right now, while you're doing that, in your opinion, is a tight grain preferable to a wider grain, or is it
A,
kind of
a,
irrelevant? I mean,
a
and it's
tight
this is not a question because I don't know.
a tight grain is preferable. Yet, if it's a proper direction, even a wider grain isn't wrong. I mean, if you've got a super wide grain where for the width of the hammer you've only got like two lines, that's like pine. That's a super wide grain. Uh, but for example, this one here that I was showing is a fairly tight grain for being hickory. You know, This one here is a little bit. It's a little bit. The drawing that I did isn't exactly, but it's a little bit wider, but it's still okay. Um, yeah. So even I should have sanded the bottom of these, but even along, especially after a burn, along the handle, you can see the grain. Okay, and really the only place.
Let me see how this. I don't know. I'll have to pull.
Yeah. Where's my other? I thought I brought in two hammers. I did. I'm sitting on it. Yeah. Um, you can see the grain along it, and you just want that, from butt to head, those solid lines going across, and that creates that strength, for the impact point. Again, if you flip it over and I were to take this hammer and swing it that way, it would snap much quicker, much easier. So uh, when somebody talks about hammer handle grain direction, that is what they mean. You want it parallel, tight, packed, parallel, and good. There is a degree of difference that is allowable. I think I think 45 degree is the absolute worst case maximum I would allow. That would be for a hammer that I would be using, not a hammer that I'd be sending out. A hammer handle that I would send out you know, no more than 15-degree difference, variance from off of vertical. And vertical in relation to the camera, I apologize to the podcast listeners, but more of a reason why you should watch the show and not just listen in your
No, no, no.
earbuds.
But to be fair, you got to watch the show and you got to listen to the podcast. So I mean,
True that.
I'm working on actually like I think the episode that's going to publish this week, or it was either last week, is that where I had to do some edits and actually like do some voiceover after the fact, add some information. So
Yeah.
I'm working on when I edit and I go, oh, that was wrong or something like that, is going in and correcting it now. As as before, it was just cold what we did, minus the long pauses and awkward stuff, which have gotten short enough now that I'm really not having to clip pauses. So
Right.
anyways, the wood grain that has no audible equivalent.
Yeah. Um,
And Trail Dust makes a good point. Smoosh that like button, because until he mentioned it, even I forgot. And yeah,
yeah. 12 likes
even,
and 22 viewers. Come on.
even lurkers can smoosh the like button. Like and describe, like and describe. I mean,
Yes.
sub.
All right.
Okay, yeah,
Now, so that's grain, and the direction of the grain is just as important as the type of wood. Um, you want to use a hardwood for a handle, but you don't want to use like a super hardwood. Like me and Sully were discussing, something like oak or mesquite, um, and that's super hard. Uh,
right. And I'm totally like curious. So the
Now,
first chance I get, I'm gonna turn a mesquite handle and see how that works. But
see how it works. See how long it lasts. I'm not an expert on wood, unlike some people. Um, but really, I pretty much solely use hickory handles bought from househandles.com. And I would go into, a lot of people go to that site and get confused by their layout. Um, like this specific hammer has like 6 different iterations, or this specific handle has like 6 different iterations on their site, you know, both in length of hammer or length of handle, size of eye, etc. And I'll go into that, later on. But as for types of woods, hickory, ash. There was another one and I can't remember it. All make decent handles. Um, I am not certain on a true hardwood, something like ironwood, something like oak, something like mesquite, something that is like, holy cow, this is a hardwood.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've heard that a common one that people want to try out here in the States is Osage orange, and
Osage.
yeah, whatever, Osage orange. And I know it's wrong, but I don't care. It's yeah, I'm stuck with it in my head. I got to do it.
No,
Um,
yeah.
anyways, what do you call it? Osage. Anyways, yeah, but that is what I've never even seen that wood. So I mean, like I don't even know what it looks like, but I hear that is really hard. I mean, because it just transfers every bit of vibration right up the hammer handle into your hand. So, um,
that's while a hammer handle made from something like crazy hard wood, it may not break. It's it's the comfort level. You want to have that mix of uh, hard yet flexible, or impact friendly. The best way I can describe it. We even, were discussing Yew as a hammer handle, and that's the stuff that they make uh, bows out of. Like a archery.
right, it's a very very flexible, a strong and flexible wood.
Mhm. And now I always thought they were put on like stiff ropes or something. You see them videos that pop up all the time of these people, swinging a sledgehammer with like a 6 or 7 foot long handle, and it's a floppy. Apparently that's you. You know,
Yeah, it's actually like a 10-foot long handle, and
yeah,
it's all floppy and stuff, and yeah, that's a U handle because that's where it gets all of its flex.
yeah. Now I will say Anson Ivy posted something or put something up that brings up an excellent point. And all right. So and I'll attest to this as well. Hickory has been used for several years, like several is an understatement, and is tried and true. Absolutely is. You
Yeah,
know,
how about
if you're just
centuries?
yeah, if you're just going for utility, hickory, go for it. If you're making something that is more of a showpiece and only to be used a little bit, you can use something a little different to get a nice look. But uh, at a certain point, you sacrifice form for function.
Right,
Hickory,
and
use hickory. It's not hard to come by. Excuse me. It's not hard to come by. It's not difficult to work with. It's not like a complicated uh, material in any way. It's very common because of its utility. You know.
well, the tradesman says he buys a straight grain hickory and ash sledgehammer handles, and then gets 3 hammers handles out of it using a 4.5-inch grinder to contour it down.
Sure.
Yeah, I know somebody else that does the same thing, and those handles are actually pretty freaking amazing. It's actually my favorite handles are the ones that are done out of that. I do believe I said handles. And I don't, I've never purchased a sledgehammer handle myself. I do come across one every now and then because, like working out on drilling rigs, roughnecks break sledgehammers all the time. I mean, like on a rig move, they probably break 2 or 3 sledgehammers on a rig move, and they just throw them away. I mean, like so that's why I used to have sledgehammer heads all over the place. And but I can also just walk over to the trash can and pick up a handle that's just they've had the hammer for 3 weeks and snap the head off of it, and so I can get those handles just all day. And in fact, I've even got a little pile of them outside. I've just never done anything with them.
Yeah. Um, what was it? I wonder how Beach would do as a handle. Now that's the thing that I'm going to put a small disclaimer here, and I know I've already said it, but I am not an expert on wood and the different types. I don't know the properties of beech compared to pine, compared to, hickory. I just know what I've researched that works. It's like if I haven't had to
Yep.
research different woods because I use the same wood day in and day out for my handles. And I go through househandles.com, and this isn't a paid promotion. This isn't nothing. I will be full
Hashtag not
disclosure,
sponsored.
huh? Hashtag
Hashtag.
not a sponsor. Yeah, full disclosure. I have had issues with them and with their customer service. I have called and talked to them and gotten those issues straightened out. They handled the issues swimmingly. So excellent customer service. If you do have an issue, they will take care of you. But the
Uh,
problem is, site is for a beginner very confusing because you go, okay, I need a. They don't have a, you know, their, in my opinion, their blacksmith's handle. I use the engineer handle because it is better suited to the drift that I use.
yeah. Good morning, James Jones from Black Hand Forge in Butte, Montana.
How is it
Um,
over there in Buddy?
hold on. Beach. Who said something about beach?
That would be Boar. Boar.
Yeah, I said wondered about beach. Okay, now initially I thought, oh, that's going to be too soft, but aircraft with wooden frames specifically can only use beech. Beechwood is the only aircraft that can, or the only wood that can be legally used in an aircraft. And so it's got to have some sort of strength property in addition to its being lightweight. I don't know. I've never actually personally worked on a wooden aircraft. The closest I've come to that are metal frame with a fabric and dope, which is like a fancy word for really thick paint. And but I've never done one with a wooden frame, so I've never actually had to deal with that. And boy, if I did, I would have been hosed because it's like I am not a woodworker. I don't know how I'm going to shape a wing spar or something like that. Yeah. So beech is used exclusively in aircraft, and so it might actually be strong enough to be used as a hammer. I don't know. I've never even seen beech wood, so uh,
Yeah.
I can't say. But I am curious now.
Yeah. Well, I just noticed in the chat two people, Anson Ivy, who is a known YouTuber, says, I've been a woodworker on and off for over 30 years and I've researched enough to know what works and what doesn't. Well, then get your butt on in the Discord and start talking to us. He says, my internet wouldn't handle that.
Dang, dial up anyhow.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so uh, of course, and I'll take that's a perfect example for what this show is about. We're not here to talk at you. We're here to talk with you. So that's why we host this on the Discord. Uh, and if you have information or knowledge pertinent to what we're talking about, you are more than welcome to hop into the Impractical Blacksmiths chat, voice chat, and join the show, be a part of it. You know, this is a community show. So yeah, just let us know if you're going to, because you pop in and blow up my eardrums. I'll have some words, but
Right.
yeah. So tradesmen, Anson, whoever would like to pop in, pop in. Uh, it is the topic. We still have about 20-30 minutes left of the show. Um, but
Dylan,
yeah,
that's a good.
go ahead.
Where is the line between a hardwood and a softwood? I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I know which woods are which, but I don't know how they're classified or why they're considered that.
Yeah. Um, Anson says Beechwood is flexible and light, and yes, great for flight. I don't know if he meant to rhyme that, but he goes impact work, not so much.
Yeah, he's a
Fair
poet and
point.
didn't know.
Yeah, he's got the time to do the rhyme. Beech is really common in Europe. It is usually used in all kinds of furniture. Uh, like Ivy said, the heartwood is best. A lot of handles aren't the heartwood. Yeah.
Well, see now in the heartwood, I'm thinking. I mean, like, because the grain, like, I'm just thinking the wood that I have here in spades is mesquite, right? And it is really, really small, tight grain because we don't get much water here. You know, I mean, so I mean, they don't grow a whole lot every year. You know, the trees that are in my mom's backyard that are like 2 foot in diameter are probably 300 or 400 years old, and so the grain is really tight. And if I'm going to use the heartwood, I mean, like, I'm gonna have grain going all the way around the handle in a circle, you know?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious on the properties of gumball wood, um, because we've got a gumball tree we're going to be tearing down, and there's probably enough if it's good for handles and good for stuff like that. There's probably enough wood there to fuel a small country. It's yeah, because it's a big tree.
Okay, so broadleaf is hardwood, softwood is thinleaf. I'm not sure. Is that all include? Because I mean, like, I don't even know, like, things like say like apple. Is that a hardwood? I mean, like, I don't know. Is it softwood? Well,
Those
I
little
think
round leaves.
well, apple is a broadleaf. Like a pine, that's a narrow. Pine is a thin leaf, whatever. But um, well, obviously because pine needles, but and all the different conifers, so to speak. I don't know.
Huh. But anyway,
Yeah, sorry, I got off on a sort of a tangent there, trying to figure out, because I know a few hardwoods and a few soft woods, and but as far as the whole gamut of them, nah, I don't know.
softwoods. Eh, um, but yeah, so all right. Off the topic of specific woods, and more on the topic of using them as handles. Now, another thing that Sully and I were talking about was the aspect of fitting a handle to a hammer. Um, not, I mean, anybody who makes hammers knows that when you make a hammer, you bevel the bottom of the eye, or you bevel the eye so that it doesn't have, you break the edges of it so that it doesn't have a sharp point against the wood that can create a stress point and crack, snap, and make your hammerhead go flying. Um, Now, I had thought that I did it with every single one, but not so much. My hammer number 42, I did what Sully does, and I made it flush. And uh, now this one I've been using for quite some time now, and it has never gone loose. Uh, this is my 3 pounder from the hammer class 2 years ago.
Hey, can I see the end of that hammer you just held up, the number 42 again? I want to see something right quick. And I'm sorry about it. There's a 15-second delay. So give me about a 3-second look at the hammer.
Sure. Um,
Okay, oh, yeah, yeah, okay. I was just curious about the shape of your eye. It tells me the shape of your drift. So
yeah.
that's all I was curious about.
Yeah. Uh, Oval with flat sides is what I do.
Right,
Uh,
right, yeah. See if you look at mine. Let's see. I gotta switch back to Discord. Hold on. So if you look at mine,
yeah,
it looks like it's
roughly the
hard to.
same. I can see it.
There we go. Yeah, there it is. It's roughly the same, but it's more of I've got more of a rectangular drift.
Mm.
And like we were talking about the way I grind mine. I put the handle in, fit the handle, and then I grind. After I wedge it, I slice it off, and then I put the safety wedge in. And then in lieu of wood glue, I use 5-minute epoxy around my handles, and I mean, so far the ones that I've used epoxy with, they never get loose.
Well, yeah, because
So
you're basically gluing it up.
right, right, right. And the epoxy sticks to the wood and the metal, in lieu of like wood glue, which just glues the wood wedge in, and I've never had a wooden wedge come out of a handle ever. So I mean, like
Now this,
whether it used a wood glue or not. Now, however, the my hammer class hammer, which is one that I use quite often, and I've probably put 3 or 4 handles in it. It is not epoxied, and it does get loose. You know, if I want it to be nice and tight, I got to drop it into a bucket of water or something a few hours before I'm going to use it. But typically, I don't bother. I just grab it and I just whack the upright, whack the handle on the anvil and go to town.
yeah.
But it does get loose from time to time, but I'm okay with it. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I use
Now,
that I use that hammer often enough that it doesn't matter if I glue it in or not. I'm still going to be breaking handles at least once a year, and so I don't bother gluing them up. Now all the other ones I do glue up because I don't use them that much, and I don't anticipate having to replace a handle for 5, 6, 7 years.
yeah. Now, this is hammer number 42. This is hammer number 3. This was the third hammer that I made, third hammer that I handled. This was several years ago. I've never busted the head. When I first had it, it was a little loose, so I did a little trick. After, after I had handled it, and I didn't know so much about handles and everything, I put the wedge in and then the safety wedge, soaked it in linseed oil and kind of went at it. And it would loosen up just a little bit, and I'd take and hammer, slam it down on my anvil and keep going. Uh, After listening to a discussion with on the Forge Cast with uh, uh, Big Fudge Sam, he was on recently, talking about it, and then looking into it a little bit. There's a technique that I believe is ancient Chinese secret, but I don't, just uh, I left about a quarter to a half inch of the handle sticking out, wedge it, toss in this, like hammer that down, then trim off just the wedge, and then hammer the safety wedge in with a ball peen, and then go ahead and mushroom the tip, mushroom the wood down,
Now, hey now,
and
easy.
let me see if I can, mushroom the end of it down, and then soak that in linseed oil, and it is pretty much rock hard. That tip becomes rock hard. And this thing, I did that probably a week or two into having this hammer handled, and I have never, ever had this one loosen. And this is the one that I use to drift hammers, to this is a 3-pounder that I swing for the fences with. This does not wiggle. This does not jiggle. This does not fold. My hammer don't wiggle.
Now, George Anderson brings up that next kind of area we wanted to go into is makes me wonder about the matic and pickaxe style handles. Those things never
Yes.
get loose. Now, I have to say, when I was a kid, I worked the crap out of a pickaxe more often than I liked, and even as a young adult because I was a plumber for a while, and whereas when I'm on a job site or whatever, we got a backhoe to dig the important stuff, and on commercial stuff, you're building on a pad, what have you. But at home, when I'm running a new sewer line at my house or installing a new water main, yeah, I'm out there with a rock bar and a pickaxe to dig it. And as I recall, I mean, like all of my life on a pickaxe, the head of the pickaxe rocks on the handle back and forth
Mm-hmm.
just a little bit, and so you always got that little bit of movement, and that little bit of movement is what really helps, in my opinion, the vibration transfer. I don't think I've ever had a pickaxe with just a solid fit. It's always been a little bit of not side to side or not loose, but it has rock to it, so a little bit of back and forth. And it's never taken anything more than a slight just tap to separate the handle from the head. So,
It,
if you want to get into the
yeah.
mechanics.
Well, okay. So here is one thing. I use pickaxes a lot for when I'm digging trenches and come across a rock and then curse the day and go have a cigarette, curse in the truck, and then I grab the pickaxe and go out there and I wail on it to break the rock up because I have to be 2 foot down. Anyway, um, using a pickaxe that has that style head, um, almost always, because I have the habit of flipping the tool up and like resting on it. Anytime I do that, then that pickaxe slides down and busts me in the knuckles, and it's like more cursing, another cigarette break, and then back to work. Um, I have this habit uh, and I don't even know why I have the habit because I don't particularly have loose hammerheads of slamming the butt down on the anvil to tighten it up. If I were to have, if I were to have a wedged uh, head like a pickaxe and do that, that hammer handle or that hammerhead would slip down and probably break all my fingers. Um, now,
No,
obviously,
come on. I have whacked the crap out of my own hand with the hammer because I missed a punch or a drift or something, and I didn't break anything. So I mean, come on now.
yeah. Um, now, uh, to be fair with that, I would think that style of fit, as Wayne says, the purpose for that handle being that way um, is so that it can be broken down into a pack. Uh, sure,
Well,
whether that's a design for why it's that way or a convenient secondary feature because it's that way, you know. Because also I see tomahawks with that same style handle, and you don't typically break those down and put them in the pack. You just hang them off your pack. Um, now, uh, I would not see a way using that to have a secure vibration proof way to secure the head. A few swings and it would work itself down. And then you'd have to take and flip it over and clunk and keep going. Um, so I don't see it as a viable option for uh, um, a
well,
hammerhead.
and
Also,
also, if you think about it, I mean, the shape of your hammer handle, I mean, you're pretty wide at the bottom for your grip. This one, not so much. This is just a round handle, and it was an experiment because it's only like 9 inches long, and I actually test drove it yesterday, and I don't like it at all. So I'm gonna knock that handle out and redo it. But the amount that you would have to because if you're gonna drift a hammer head to take a handle that way, you're only gonna drift it from one side. Okay, now, how big are you going to have to drift that to get the appropriately shaped handle through through that hammerhead? I mean, like,
that's the
oh my
next thing.
God,
Yeah.
a massive amount of drifting, and I
Or
mean,
a tiny handle.
or a tiny handle, and I mean, like, for this size hammerhead, I mean, oh my gosh, I would have to that hammer eye would have to be easily 3 times as big, and I'd honestly worry about splitting one of the sides out trying to do that. So obviously, in something this size, that wouldn't work.
I'm
You would have to
sure
be
it I'm
much
sure
larger.
it can be designed and done and be a hammer to test out. And it might be an interesting test to forge a hammer with the intention of having that style handle and then seeing what happens. You
I'm not
know,
going to, but
I,
somebody with power tools is more than welcome to give it a shot. But I'm not
I've
going to do
got
that thing by hand.
I got a power tool right here, you know. So I might give it a try. Um, I might try it with a mild steel chunk and see how it goes. You might be onto something, or I may be right with my mental gymnastics physics, where I feel that it would loosen up. I would feel that there would be no way to truly seat that uh, head down so that it doesn't wiggle. You know. Um, but yeah, as for the idea of breaking the tools down, something like a tomahawk, something like a hammer, you know, a small-headed tool, you just hook it in
Well,
a loop and let it hang. Something like a pickaxe, you don't particularly want this freaking, what, gigantic bit hanging off your belt, and line it up with the hammer and or with the handle and pack it away. That
well,
makes
so
sense.
we're getting into some weeds here. Get like so they're talking about mining tunnels being too small to carry an assembled matic. I don't know what a matic is, but I'm assuming it's similar to a pickaxe or something like that.
Yeah, I'll be fair.
Um,
I hear Matic and I think, Polygon Network.
okay, and yeah, right. And so um, then George Anderson says that would make a lot of sense if they were trying to haul their tools into a mine. They would break down their hammers until they get to the spot where they want to use them. I've been in a lot of mines. I mean, in quite a few. And all of them there were from the 1800s, the mid 1800s, 1860s to maybe as late as 1900, as far as when they were started. Some of them it's still in operation today. Most of them not though. And I can't recall ever being in a mine shaft that was smaller or like it was. I'm 5'6" and I've never had to stoop to walk through. At least not the entire way. I mean, there every now and then there's a low spot,
Gotcha.
especially like where a downshoot comes down or something like that. But then widthwise, every single one of them was at least 8 feet wide. I mean, so I mean, like they were all pretty sizable. Now, granted, I've only been in mines in the La Plata Mountains in southern Colorado, and I've there are a lot of abandoned gold mines up there, and I've picked through almost every one I could find. So. But yeah, I never had an issue with that. I mean, like, and nowadays, I mean, you're packing in uh, power equipment like air hammers and stuff like that, and then you got a quarter mile of that 2-inch air hose, and and you're back there with a an air hammer chipping it out. So, anyways,
Roy understood the assignment. When you use a hand hammer, you're naturally inclined to hit with the toe, i.e., the part furthest from you, and this would most definitely knock the hammerhead loose in one or two strokes. That is a very, I was about to say elucidated, very well spoken description of what I was just saying. Yes.
right, yeah, we think that, and then but it's yeah, Roy was able to put it into words.
Yeah, it's just with this
You all right?
with the way that you would use a blacksmith hammer, you want it tight and immovable.
Right.
You want it to be
And,
a solid tool. Words. I am not a wordsmith. I'm a blacksmith.
right, and you don't always hit with a hammer square. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're holding it at at a 45 this way or a 45 that way. Sometimes you're hitting with the toe. Sometimes you're hitting with the depending on what you're
Especially if
what
it's
you're
an
trying
off
to get
balance
accomplished.
hammer. Sorry.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so a matic. Oh, okay. See, there we go.
Mattock.
The spelling is what had me confused. Okay, yeah, okay, and I don't even know why I didn't get that. Yeah, yeah. The pickaxe has got the flat on one side and the point on the other, and a matic has got two flats, one perpendicular and one parallel. I got you.
Yeah, I have used a Matic then. I
But
have a
when you
Matic.
matic, it's like I don't even know what that is.
You, it's Polygon Network.
Right, right, right. Yeah, it's a blockchain.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
Actually,
the
that's a
pinned
token on.
link the pinned link. I know that a lot of you guys aren't into crypto, but it would help me a lot if you guys were to click that link, make a quick account, and follow my profile on that website uh, because I'm building something fantastic over there. And I will be honest, once that website is complete and has a news feed, much like Facebook, I will be getting rid of my Facebook. I will be leaving Facebook and pretty much solely be using that for my social media stuff. So, uh, yeah. uh, Follow me. Follow
Robert
me.
Lunas, no, no, it will not. It will not make your Doge worth anything.
Uh, but you can go into the Doge chats and chat with people who are in Doge and discuss
And
it
are
with them.
equally, yeah, and are equally mad because they bought at 60 cents.
Yeah. But
Yeah, here or there.
yeah, everybody's
What is
mad.
okay? Stephen Parsons asked. Speaking of pickaxes, does anybody have a Nordic pickaxe? So does anybody know what that is? Because I don't.
I'm assuming it's a pickaxe made in Norway.
There you go. Why didn't I think of that? It's so simple.
That's not. I mean, that's a weird one because you're the brains of the operation. I'm just a
Right?
pretty
It's
face.
it's it's a pickaxe and it's
Yeah,
Norwegian.
yeah, that's a Norwegian pickaxe. It's got to be. That's the thing, right? Anson, click the link, make an account, and and follow my profile. You know.
Don't do it. He's incorrigible.
Yeah. Um, I haven't
No,
played Skyrim in years.
I have never played it. I mean, and honestly, I mean, like I'm 47 years old next month, and I just discovered Minecraft 2 years ago. So, I'm a little bit slow on the uptake when it comes to gaming.
Yeah. I have been playing a game. I've actually been live streaming it on my Twitch lately, beta testing a space fighting game. It's freaking cool. Uh, but pipe for handles, absolutely not. That brings up the other topic,
Oh,
and I know we're at the very end of the show, but I really wanted to get to this. I had forgot that I wanted to go over this topic, and yeah. So I'm not one to tell you what to do, but I will say this: tried and true wood, unvarnished, bare wood, maybe with a bit of a char to it if you want, uh, because that will help prolong the, that's a whole other science thing where it breaks out the oils and blah 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 blah. But buying a hammer from a big box store and just using it and go, oh, it's got this comfortable rubber grip and this super strong fiberglass handle, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, and it's the same as using a glove on your hammer hand. It's just no es bueno. Okay, uh, it swinging a blacksmith's hammer is a lot different than swinging a carpenter's hammer. Okay, it's a lot different than swinging a sledgehammer, on a job site. It's a whole different ball game. Uh, so um, you want that comfort grip. You will have a lot less blisters. You will have a lot less strain on your tendons if you use a more comfortable wooden, properly made, proper hammer. Okay, you want your grip to be right. You don't want it to be tight death grip, which if you have something that is like a rubber encased handle and it moves, you have it, or with you a glove, you have a tendency to overcompensate your grip, and which strains that muscle right there, which over time will give you major problems. I know this because I've been through this when I first started. For about 6 months, after maybe a month of using, not even a month of using a fiberglass handle, I had blown out my tennis elbow, my tendon there. Now, if you go back to my early videos, uh, the majority of my early videos, I have a strap here uh, because of that. And uh, yeah, since I switched specifically and solely to wooden handles and stopped wearing a glove on my hammer hand, I have had zero issues. I can even go a month with only swinging a hammer on Sundays and completely get out of the whack, the swing of things, and then pick up a hammer and start going for 8 hours. And yeah, my arm will be, ooh, but I will not have that tendon issue. Okay, so I don't
Wayne,
care, huh?
Wayne brings up a good point. Or you could just buy a turtle hammer kit from Christ Center Ironworks, and then you just don't have to worry about handles anymore.
When I'm a bazillionaire, I'm going to do that. You know, once I'm a bazillionaire, basically I'm going to buy Christ-centered Ironworks. I'm going to fund his operation.
So somebody said, what about pipe? And
Nope.
obviously, no. Hold on. Let me walk that back a minute. So obviously, I'm sure everyone has swung a hammer with a metal welded on hammer or handle. I know I have. I
I
mean, like, oh
haven't.
my God. When I was a kid, my dad welded a pipe handle onto a shovel. You want to talk about wearing your butt out now? Oh my God, that thing was so heavy. He was like, all right, here you go, boy. Break this handle. I dare you. And well, that sucked. That was like inch and a quarter, not galvanized, but black pipe. Yeah, not fun. Anyways, but I was thinking, when it comes to a hammer, and I did when I was a kid, I had a claw hammer with a like 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch welded in metal pipe handle. Um, I mean, it worked, but I mean, it was also not used that often, so it wasn't a big deal. What if it was something like PEX, that's a little bit flexible, and I mean, like PEX is like if you because you could squeeze PEX in there and then like wedge the tip and it would stick. And it's and in that size, it is pretty stiff. But then again, it would probably wind up being about the same as fiberglass. So yeah, never
Hmm.
mind.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So you don't want a slick hammer handle, and you don't want a rubberized or otherwise gripped hammer handle. Okay, you want that perfect blend. At the most, the slickness would be from natural uh, oils, from the wood and from your hands, and that natural feel. But yeah, uh, uh, yeah, I've never used and never will use a metal hammer handle. Even my carpenter's hammers at work as an electrician are wooden handled. Um, I actually hand forged my daily driver for work, the one that I use for hammering things in at work. I made a uh, claw hammer for work, and it's fantastic. I love it. Uh,
Yeah, and like Ivy said, probably propylene would be way too rubbery, and and I'm still like turning over the mechanics of a PEX hammer handle, and at the end of the day, the shape's going to be all wrong anyways, because like this handle right here, this little shorty, um, is mostly round. And when I test drove this hammer, not only is it just like 2 inches too short for where I like to hold a hammer of this weight, um, it's also very very difficult to index because the handle is so round. And so I literally just did a taper like the start of a leaf. And just like nope, 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 nope. This is a whole bucket of nope. I'm gonna cut this handle off and start over. So. And the main thing about that is the round. It's not it's not oval enough. It's too difficult to index with a round handle.
right. Anson brings up the point that I have held his metal handled mild steel hammer. Yeah, probably so traumatic that I washed it out of my memory. So
Yeah, right. There,
I,
that caught in the lie. Yama's caught in the lie.
yeah, I apologize. If I forget that I've done something, it's probably so bad that I just don't remember it. I love you, Anson.
Oh,
Chris,
Roy says he's gonna stir the pot because he's got a video coming up with super slow mo footage of the kinetic energy travel of different grip positions on your hammer handles. Uh, Roy, we love it when you stir the pot. That's always a good time. So
yeah.
bring it, baby, bring it.
Oh, speak while Roy's here, and he was going on this whole. I heard about this mini feud that you and Roy have uh, about welding, forge welding or welding metals below welding temperatures. Um, and something about Roy would like eat his hat or whatever if it was proven that metals can be welded below a certain temperature, below welding temperatures. And I believe you brought up the science and proof that you can cold weld metals. So Roy, get your ketchup and eat your hat.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was just, I mean, I get that, I presented a situation that Roy wasn't referring to, but
I know,
yeah.
but
Yeah, metal touching metal in a hard vacuum, such a space makes it weld together. And it doesn't even matter if it's steel. I mean, you could weld steel to aluminum in a hard vacuum just by touching it together. It's a problem they had with the Gemini spacecraft back in the early days of the space program. They didn't realize that if you had two pieces of metal touching, and once it got to space, it wouldn't move anymore. So that's why everything that is flexible is has a Teflon seal in between it. But so
okay.
yeah. So in space, metal can weld to metal with zero heat present. But that's not what Roy was really
I
referring
know.
to. But I did
I,
think I would just
I, I
mention
see.
it.
I see two comments that I'm going to address. Uh, Roy saying if he's going for space and vacuum, dot 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 dot. But you spoke in an absolute, so only Sith deal in absolutes. So I'm just going to leave that at that. I ain't trying to stir the pot. Rotary friction welding, John Burnell, creates heat, which brings it to welding temperature. That doesn't count. Another one
I did think of friction welding as well, and
that
because that's
creates
how
heat.
spacecraft are done. And yeah, it does create that heat right at the tip of the rotary tool
Okay.
that melts the metal together. So yeah.
Now, Mr. Anderson, another question. How come we don't index handles for hammers like we do with knives? I do. Um, Actually, not this one. I forgot to do it. But anybody who's bought a hammer from me, what I do is I index the handle uh, so that when the rounding face is down, your fingertips are touching a round side. When the planishing face, the flatter face is down, it's flat there. Not significantly, not like a sharp edge flat, but so your fingertips actually feel the a little bit of a flatter difference, so that when you're going ham on a project, you can do the quick flips and be like, all right, I know exactly which face is facing down.
Yeah, I do
So
the same thing with my handles. The flat side has got a flat on the handle, and the round side is just
you leave it
regular road.
round, yeah, and then
Yeah,
you just
because
stand a bit of a
literally,
flat.
yeah, I don't have to look at it. I can
So
flip the handle 180 degrees mid swing, and no matter three hits, and I can flip it again, whatever. And I know just by the feel of the handle in my hand, I know which side's up, which side's down, and depending on what I want to do, which side I need where. So I do index it like that.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people do, not a lot of people talk about it. So George, feel free to index your hammers if you feel the need to. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
Roy, you said then we should be able to temper our tools with a simple breath of air. Indeed, right? Um,
Hold on.
wait.
Hold on. My hammers that I've made are made out of A33, so they're tempered with a breath of air.
Right.
I
I was gonna mention I was doing some
love
research
you, Roy.
for a coworker of mine on a project he needs me to work on, and the products that this particular company makes, this particular company has been in business for since the mid 1700s, and in their current iteration and their current products are quenched in liquid nitrogen. So I mean that blew my mind. I was like, what? Yeah.
Yeah,
So liquid nitrogen quench. I mean that is sick.
yeah. Sorry. I Roy's either gonna say, screw this, I'm out of here, or he's gonna hop in and start yelling at me. One of the two.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Roy.
Robert, that's what I use as the engineer handle. That's I buy them at Ace currently at Ace Hardware because it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm probably going to give House Handle a try because I haven't. I never did try them because I remember back in the day Yamez talking about having a problem with them, so I never did bother. Um,
But
And yeah, I mean, sure, but typically I just go to Ace Hardware and buy an engineer's handle. And this handle right here was an Ace Hardware buy as well. I was picking up the engineer handle for hammer number 7, and I saw this one, and I was like, that's a weird handle. I think I'm going to buy that and try it out. And so, yeah, no, I don't like it. So I
actually,
will.
let
I
me
will.
see. Before we call it a day, I will pull up househandles.com and show you guys, because some of you guys have been there, some of you guys have not. So uh, I will
Yeah,
go over a little bit of the how to
Adam.
properly use House Handles Company.
Yeah,
And
Adam.
if they wanna send me some free handles for this, uh, they can contact me.
Adam's got it right over there at Speargrass Forge. It's like, some people like it thinner, some people like it thicker. Wooden handles, of course.
Yes. All right. Where's my display capture? Display two. Okay. All right. Putting this up there. Display two. Show it. And all right. We are on househandles.com. Let me show you guys this real quick. Uh, very, like I was saying earlier, it's a very good site once you learn how to use it and learn the bits about it. When you go there, it's no offense, House Handles, but it looks like it's still from the 90s. Okay, but what works is it's very nice, very nicely organized. All different types of hammers for all different types of everything. Blacksmith shop hammer handles. Excuse me. You could buy them all there. Uh, it shows you kind of what the eye would be. You know, I personally that is a pure oval. I personally don't use that. I use the engineer hammer handle because that's the shape of my drift. Okay, and it shows you a little cross section of what the eye would be. I use um, yeah, uh, 616 is the 16-inch handle, okay, of the engineer's style. It is 3/4 by inch and a quarter is the eye, and it's good for 2 to 3 pounds, which is good because my hammers are 2 to 3 pounds. If it's a little bit lighter, either I say screw it and I you know, grind it down more, or I'll grab the 14-inch handle. But most people prefer a longer handle, and
Hey,
if they want to cut it down, they can.
hey, I got
Now,
a question.
yeah,
On the options there, it says
I
special
was
request,
uh,
handpicked, no lacquer, octagon. Okay, the first
uh,
two are pretty.
I was getting right to that.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, so when you're ordering one, you go, okay, I want 616. You put in the number, then you choose hand picked. That right there refers to the grain. Okay. Um, if you just want, you know, if you don't want to pay the extra, I think it's 50 cents for hand picked. I'm not sure. We'll get to that. Um, the they'll send you whatever grain they have. But if you choose hand picked, they'll go in their pile of handles and they'll pick the perfect grain. They'll put tight vertical grains. So whenever I order, I make sure choose hand picked, no lacquer, because it saves me the time from scraping the lacquer off. And they have an octagon handle, which is exactly what it sounds. What they do is they grind it into an octagon. I got a buddy who swears by octagon. All of his hammers are octagon. I don't bother. If I want an octagon handle, I can grind it myself. Um, so you do hand picked, no lacquer of the specific one that you would like, and add it to my shopping cart. Okay, go to the shopping cart, and that's where it breaks it down. Hand picked adds $2, no lacquer adds 50 cents. Okay, uh, it doesn't give you a full on price. They do the pricing a little weird, so you have to calculate it in your head what it's going to be. Um, Click exempt from tax if you don't live in Missouri. Sorry for you guys in Missouri. And then you click, check out. It gives you basically this scene. You input your info, and they send it to you, and then they email you the invoice, and that's where you see how much the shipping costs. They basically, uh, shipping. It's not insane. It's really not insane shipping. I
You know,
think,
that's I was
yeah,
going to say that is really really good. I mean, that basically okay. So before shipping, that's for me that's 750 a handle, right? I'm currently paying like 16.99 a handle. I mean,
yeah,
like that's what they cost at over whatever. Okay, yeah, I don't have to pay shipping, but if I bought like $7, let's say I bought three handles, I'm going to be paying shipping for three handles, which isn't it's not going to be like $5 per handle shipping. It's probably going to be um, uh, just ship UPS. Okay, so
okay. This is the most important thing that they put on their shipping, and it is. I have spoken to them on the phone. They are true to this. They ship UPS ground or US, postal service. They ship the least expensive way and then charge the actual shipping cost. That's why you don't see a shipping price on their form, because they don't do a flat shipping rate and either overcharge you or undercharge you, and then it balances out in their books. They add the shipping to the bill when they charge you. Okay,
right, and see
so
that was
it's they go the cheapest possible way, and I have looked into it, and they do choose the cheapest possible way when they ship it out. Okay, and they
right.
don't do shipping and handling; they just charge shipping
Right,
because
and see, for me, that would complicate things because my USPS comes to me in Midland, and FedEx and UPS go to Bront, Texas, where my
but
house is. So I have two different shipping addresses, and it depends on what method of shipping somebody is going to use. And it really irritates me when I order something and it says USPS, and then it comes UPS, and I get a notification that my package is undeliverable, and I'm like,
yeah,
ugh.
but to be fair, they when they go to put an address, if UPS is not available or USPS is not available, they ship the other one. You know, so they kind of take that into account, I believe.
I
But
mean, yeah, because if I input my shipping address as a PO box, I would hope take United States Postal Service, regardless of the price. I mean, because
but
I mean, I don't care if UPS is cheaper. I mean, like if I order it to my PO box, please ship it USPS. You know, by
yeah,
the same account, if I order it to my home address, I don't have mail delivery at my house. So, like if something comes to my home address, I have to know it's at the post office and go, pick it up, personally. So,
but yeah. So we were talking earlier about the pickaxe handle as a hammer handle. Look how wide you would have to make the eye for that to work. Inch and a half by 2.5 inches for the eye. That's over half the length of a hammer. Okay, it would be a little ridiculous. So
yeah,
just to
the
that point,
Robert Lunas makes a point that, like, his Ace Hardware charges $12. I live in a boomtown, at Midland, Texas. Everything here is more expensive. I mean, that's just the way it goes because, like, I think our median income here is like $90,000. So I mean, like, everything here is more expensive. A studio apartment, it costs you $1,000 a month. I mean, it's crazy. Um, so yeah, but yeah, that's for me here. It's $16. That's just what it is. Now, if I go home to San Angelo, which is 100 miles away, it's probably $13. If I can get it when I'm at home, I get it. Whatever it is, I get it when I'm there because it's significantly cheaper than it is here, and it's only 100 miles difference. But sometimes I got to have it now, and it's obviously not worth it to drive 220 miles round trip at when you get 16 miles a gallon to save $4 on a hammer handle. All
yeah,
right, Roy,
very
have a great
cool.
night or day.
All right, I just saw your door knocker there. In
Ooh, that's
that
pretty.
that's pretty. So uh, awesome. But yeah, with all of that, with all of that, I think that we kind of covered what I would consider the next step beyond basics of handles. Okay. Um, a little bit more in depth to just carve some wood and slap it in there. Uh, so I hope this helped people. I hope if you didn't know some of this stuff, it at the very least gave you enough information to ask the correct questions when considering hammer handles. Okay. Because that's all that learning is learning the proper questions to ask for the knowledge you're seeking. Okay. If I go, how do I hammer or handle a hammer? I'll get so much information I won't know what to do with it. Now, like, hey, I'm trying to hammer this or handle this hammer. Is this grain structure, work for me? Or is this shape all right for what I'm trying to do? Or is this material, proper? Knowing a little bit more allows you to finesse your questions to get the answer that you need, and that's learning. So, I those are kind of my final thoughts on it. My final thoughts would be, like I hope this helped you learn enough to ask the proper questions to improve your already awesome life. What are your final thoughts on it, Sully?
Yeah, so this whole topic came up because I know nothing about wood, and now I know a little bit more about wood. I literally, I mean, like I said, middle of the week, we were talking about hammer handles because one of my hammers that I sold broke a handle, and that's, it's coming back to me to get fixed. But because he Yamaz asked me a couple questions, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about this. I just I grab a handle, I throw it in, and call it good. And so, but I never understood it really, and I also never asked. And so, the point being is, if you don't know, you don't know, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Even if it feels like it's a stupid question, the only stupid question is a question that goes unasked. So if you don't know something, you know, ask
Yes.
ask some ask somebody that might know, and you might, I mean, like, I'm now, after 3 days after the fact, now I know what to look for in a hammer handle before I buy it, rather than just go, yeah, that one feels good, and
Right.
call it. So ask questions if you don't know something.
Yeah.
You might be surprised that and learn something. I learn something every day, and this was something that I probably should have asked about a long, long time ago, and it just never occurred to me to ask
Now,
that question.
now is the proper time to ask it because you said you're on roughly hammer number 9.
Yeah, this one is number 9. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you have got the forging, like the forging process down, a few handles tossed in, and if you're looking to improve your hammers, now is the kind of time to start learning that. It's like if you try and learn everything so that your very first hammer is perfect, you'll have so much, attacking you at one time, you'll get frustrated. Learning in stages for those of us who learn by doing is awesome. And thank you, Ryan Sullivan, for the $4.99 super chat, you dang iPhone user. uh, yeah, so much appreciated for that. Everybody give him a round of clappy hands. Um, yeah. But yes, with that, I would like to thank all of you for being here. Big round of applause and thanks for Sully for hosting, and big round of applause for those of you who have super chatted and or joined the channel membership program. Um, and of course, a huge thank you to all of you who show up and just listen to me prattle on, listen to us, talk about things. Thank you all for uh, downloading the podcast on Anchor, Spotify, your favorite podcasting system, and that is the Impractical Blacksmiths podcast.
Yeah, we are available on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and Google Podcasts currently. All the other platforms are contingent on approval by Apple Podcasts, and that has been problematic. So,
Yeah, Apple Spotify.
yeah, it's gonna take me 6 months of fighting with Apple to get that one through.
Yeah. You can find Sully at Transcendental Artist Studios at either YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, no Facebook,
No.
and just Google it to find it. You can find me at Island Metal Forge at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, here, and Twitter. But don't go to my Twitter; it's for crypto.
Right.
um, but yeah, and I know that he was not here today, but you can find Adam, our other host, at Speargrass Forge at those typical social medias: Facebag, YouTube, um, Instagram, and etc. etc. Uh, yeah, now I can add the link. You can find me at go to coinmerch.io, make a profile, and search user Yamez and follow me there. So uh, I will be looking forward to seeing you guys all at my show this evening at 6 p.m. right here, same bat channel. And I am not sure what I'll be forging today.
Hey,
Probably.
I was gonna say, Jack Pines Blacksmith said big thanks to Sully for hanging out with me yesterday. Jack, it was my pleasure. Your live stream is an absolute joy. I do love it, and provided I work night shift a lot, so sometimes I'm asleep when you're live. But if I'm not asleep, by golly, I'll make it every time I'm not sleeping because I really do enjoy watching your show. So
Yeah, I apologize for not being there yesterday. Uh, Yesterday was a rough day for me, so uh, yeah. Um, yeah, so I apologize for not being there. Uh, I do try to get to you on Saturdays, but my Saturdays I'm either working in the shop, working it on a job site, or uh, in a funk. So I try to pop in. Um, anyway, that's our show. Thank you for participating, and I will catch you guys all either next week or later this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
yeah.